What's going on, beautiful people? It's your boy here, Wesley from Aconnectiontv here on YouTube and watch actv.com, the two places in the World Wide Web where we actually adopt similar connections despite our differences. And welcome to my channel. I am going to give you guys my final thoughts of the Cookout post Big Brother 23. And before you guys ask, yes, I am going to audition for the next season. I know that I'm probably going to have to audition probably like 80 times before I get on this. Hopefully the show runs that long. We don't know what BB23 is going to be looking like, but I'm curious to see nonetheless, and it would be amazing for CBS to have me on BB23 just because. Anyways, let's get on with my final thoughts. So let's start with Azah. I'm going to do Azah first. So during watching this particular season, Azah didn't become known to me really, or like a factor to me really, until like Final Four, right? But the vibe that I get from Azah is that she is a very cool, well-spoken, well, no, she has had some kind of confrontations, but I would say non-confrontational type of person. I believe that I would have gotten along with Azah in the house. I believe that we would have had genuine conversation. I believe that we would have vibed. But the way that she played the game wasn't necessarily my cup of tea, if you will. I guess I didn't like the fact that she didn't really win competitions until the very end stretch. And she just didn't seem like, maybe her social game was a little bit better. Her social game was probably way better than, obviously better than her physical competitive side of her game. But for me, I feel like to be an overall well-rounded BB player that everyone, including myself, could really respect as far as playing the game, I feel that you need to be well-versed in your social game and well-versed in your competitive sport. But there have been quite a few people like Dr. Will that didn't win anything and, you know, made it to the end. I don't necessarily respect that game. But Dr. Will, I'm not gonna watch that old season, but apparently Dr. Will was good in strategy. So it is what it is. I don't know. Azah is a cool chick. I like her in the house. Outside of the house, she's the same. You don't get anything new, you don't get anything different, you don't get anything inauthentic, which leads me to believe that she was really herself in the game. I really feel that Azah was authentic, and I like that, which is why I feel like I would have gotten along with her. That's it. Chada. Let's talk about Chada. Chada is one of those people, watching what they put on TV, I didn't really know what her place was. I think watching it on TV, not really into the live feeds, I got a sense of personality, I got a sense of authenticity, I got a sense of gameplay that she knew what she was talking about, but I never really got anything else. And that's because she really wasn't shown that much or highlighted that much. And maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but that's how I feel. So based off of me seeing on all my screens, I think I would have liked her. I think we would have gotten along. I wouldn't have had a problem with her at all. I don't know if our gameplay would have intertwined, because again, I would have felt like for Azah, like she wasn't really a comp beast. You know, her social game was there, but she wasn't really a comp beast. So the opposite, the side to Azah, where Hannah would be a step up from Azah though, as far as an overall well-versed player, is the fact that her strategies, or the strategies that she came up with, were legit awesome strategies to come up with in the Big Brother house. And so for that, I give her kudos. And that's just a testament to how intelligent she is with playing the game. You know, to find out that she had 60 options with regards to the whole duo plan that Tiffany came up with, and where Tiffany stated in an interview that she only had like around 5, goes to show how smart and intelligent she was. I feel like I would have definitely wanted to be alongside her at the end, not in final 2, but like I would have had no problems getting to final 6 with Chada based off of her gameplay and her social game. And I think that we really would have been cool in the house. I'll do Xavier next. Xavier, for him to be 27, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that he is 27 years old. I don't know very many 27-year-olds that are as mature, as calculated, as mentally strong as he is. I don't know if in his upbringing he was told not to cry as a man, not to feel anything as a man, but it feels like he is a brick wall a lot of the time. And I don't know if I'm just the only one, but it's like you could be at a comedy show and Xavier would be sitting there stoic like, oh, was I supposed to laugh? Ha ha ha. But then on the flip side, there are sides to him that I've seen in the live feeds and in these post videos where I'm like, yo, he's cool. There was a part in the live feed where he was saying that Kylan broke Big D's back out, or where they were talking about sex and he was like, I need to hump something when I get out the house. Like, there were moments where he had personality, but they were so few and far in between. So I really don't know if I was in the house how me and him would vibe, because I'm more of that I know I would be that well-rounded player where my social game would be on point and my comp wins would be there too. And my strategy would be, like, I would be like there. I would not be hidden. And maybe that could be a thing that won't get me far, or probably might not get me far in the game. I don't know. But that's where me and Xavier would differ. Then again, I'm not sure, because being in the house is a whole different beast. And a lot of us that watched the show, we make comments not having had any kind of experience being in a house that's fully filmed 24/7 with no TV, no phone, no nothing, no music, no contact to the outside world, just these people in this house. Things could probably be different. So you know what? Because of that fact alone, I commend everyone for being able to get through, because they do have the option for you to self-evict if you feel like you can't handle it anymore. But none of these people in the last couple of seasons have self-evicted. So they are all strong mental beasts to be able to endure that kind of, that experiment period, right? But I don't know. I think Xavier is a cool guy. Inside the house, we would have been cool. We would, you know, whatever. But I just feel like I would love to see more of his personality, because when he shows his personality, he seems even more awesome than he, you know, normally is, right? Post Xavier, same guy. You know, sometimes he laughs, most times he doesn't. You know, and he's very calculated with his words, and all of his interviews have been spot on, and he hasn't downplayed anybody. He hasn't talked negatively about anybody. So he is a stand-up young man. And again, for him to be 27, I'm like, wow, like, hard to believe. Let's get on to Kylan. Kylan's gonna be next. And I know y'all like, wow, you're leaving Big D and Tiffany last. But yeah, Kylan, because y'all know how I felt about both of them. But my thoughts are different, actually. So that's why I'm saving them to last. Kylan, gorgeous. Okay, Kylan is 29. Interesting. Yes, Tiffany was the oldest. But very interesting. So Kylan is 29. All right, Kylan, gorgeous man. Weird with the way that he speaks. Weird with his overall personality. Very eclectic on that side. The whole sniffing thing, sniffing the floss, sniffing the socks, sniffing the shoes, sniffing the food, and then putting it back in the bag. My question to that is, was that his portion of the tortilla wraps, or was that shared amongst everybody? Because if it was his portion, do whatever you want to do. But if that was food that was shared for everybody, completely disgusting and turned all the way off. Kylan and I believe we would have been cool, but I don't know if I would have trusted him as much. And again, this is me with my thoughts watching the show. I don't know if I would have trusted him that much. He didn't give me he didn't give me trustworthy guy. I didn't get that. I didn't get that from him at all. I got very manipulative. I got very sneaky. I got very underhanded from Kylan on the show. I don't know if any of you feel that way, but I got very, oh wait, the knife is behind his back. That's what I got from Kylan. Watching his quirks and his isms and schisms are just very interesting. I don't know. Gorgeous guy. Post BB23, still the same. Okay, because I haven't really heard much from him. I think his intense walkout has a lot of people looking at him differently, and I think he's probably dealing with the backlash behind that. I don't know. But the little pictures and the videos and stuff that I've seen, he's all smiles. Like, he has a smile, right? But he isn't really talking much in a lot of the stuff that I've seen post. And so I don't really know how to take him. I don't really know how to take him. I saw the interview where he said that he was still in game when he said what he said to Xavier, and it was a competition to him and it was fun for him. But again, I still believe that ultimately a thought that wouldn't have been far from his mind was to have Xavier leap so that would take him out of the game. And I feel like if Xavier did do that and they both ended up out of the game, I feel that Kylan would have walked away thinking, yes, I got him. You know? Again, I could be wrong. Maybe that wasn't his intention, but that's what it felt like watching it. Because for him to go back and say that what he said you shouldn't have taken offense to, which I agree, I do, you shouldn't have taken offense to it, and that he was still in the game in that moment, that part where he was still in the game in that moment made me feel like he wanted more to go on, or if more would have happened, it would have been okay. So that's how I feel like he's very that guy. And so I will be like, I don't know if I can trust him, but damn, he's fine. You know what I'm saying? Let's move on to Big D. I'm gonna move on to Big D and I'm gonna save Tiffy Toes last. Big D, he's 29 years old, and wow, what a difference in upbringing makes, right? When you look at Kylan, when you look at Big D, when you look at Chada, when you look at Aza, when you look at Xavier, let's just men with men. Kylan, Xavier, and Big D, all along the same age. Xavier's 27, those two guys are 29. Wow, what a difference in upbringing makes. For Big D to not get how people are viewing him, wow, what an upbringing makes. I mean, that's the only thing I can say to that. Because at first I was like, it's his age. But Kylan's 29, Xavier's 27. So it's not his age. Then I was like, maybe it has the fact to do with that he's gay, right? You know, I could bring the gay card in it because I'm gay, and I know that growing up, if you're not gay, you really can't say much to it. But if you are gay and you disagree, then we can have a conversation. Because I'm gay, and I've been gay all of my life, growing up gay is difficult, period. And growing up gay and black is even worse. So there's so much that you have to be boisterous about and always have your guard up and always have that mouthpiece if you don't want to use your hands, right? I see him, not saying that he was, but I see him being bullied all his life and trying to figure out a way to come out of that. You know, he's the son of a boxing legend, and so you have to know how to defend yourself, right? But maybe in my mind, you know, being gay, you don't necessarily go to the physical to defend yourself. You go to the mouth or the slickness or the intelligence to defend yourself, right? So me throwing the gay card in, I'm like, I can see that angle. But he's 29. So now I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see that angle, but you're 29, okay? Then I go back to the upbringing. I go back to Philly, wherever he's from. I don't know. But it's very hard for me to wrap my mind around why he is the way that he is. And then coming on Big Brother, why you can't see full circle what everybody else sees, right? And why people are calling you big delusional, right? Because what did you do? What did you do? And no matter what, the fact that everybody are trying to give him a different perspective, he's not seeing it. He has tunnel vision. He only sees what he feels that he's accomplished in the game, and that's all he's worried about. He's not worried about anything else. I saw an interview where Entertainment Tonight, where the guy asked him, are there any words that you guys feel like you have to, you know, get off your chest or apologize for or make amends for or explain or whatever the case may be. And so Xavier gave the Pulitzer Prize winning, you know, response. Tiffy Toes gave her response because she knows she said some choice things too. But Xavier, I mean not Xavier, Big D gave this round the world, Carmen Sandiego, around the world response, dancing around the concept of apologizing for coming off the way that he knows people are saying that he's come off. And again, I factor upbringing first, age second, and his sexual orientation third, right? That's the way I'm trying to make sense of all this. Because there's no way that you're not gonna understand that calling people out of their name, regardless of what word you're used to using, where you come from, upbringing, calling someone out of their name is just not cool at all. It's just not cool at all. And for whatever reason, he couldn't say, I'm sorry. He couldn't apologize. And where the host had to say, well, I'm assuming that you're trying to get an apology out of, but you can't say it. And it's like, yeah, I apologize. It was not an apology. It was not. And even in that, he was still very big delusional. And so, I don't know. I think, honestly, him and I would have bumped heads. We would have bumped heads. Because the moment that I heard him say that bitch or that, we would have had issues. We would have had problems. And so I don't necessarily think that Big D and I, he would have been tolerated but not appreciated or celebrated. And that's just that's what I gather from, because even that's me watching him on TV, and that's me dealing with him post BB23, because he's still big delusional and not acknowledging how he came across or the things that he said, which was so just horrible. And for him to think that he could talk so piss poorly about Azah and still expect her to bring him to the end off of the fact that he carried her to the end is upbringing, age, sexual orientation. I'll just even take sexual orientation out of it, but again, I know that spin. I know it, so I get that part. But wow, wow. And Azah's face through the whole interview was like, child, boom, can we get off this camera? Like, you know? So I don't know. Big D, I want him to watch the season back, and I want him to learn and grow from this. Learn and grow from this. If he's capable, I want him to learn and grow from this. That's my final thoughts on Big D. I'm sure he's fun and a ball of laughs, but there's some misplacement there that I wouldn't jive well with if I was around it 24/7. And then you see all the post clips and stuff. He's not really in any of them, really. And when he is involved in them, he's crying and having a good time. But I don't know. Every time you look at the ladies' faces, when they ask about Big D, the ladies' faces are telling it all. Okay. Tiffy Toes, Tiffany. So she's 41. Hey Tiff, you know, I have a best friend named Tiff, and I'm gonna say on my platform that I apologize. I apologize for coming at your strength of a black woman. I apologize for not knowing the ins and outs of what was going on in that house and then having an opinion on you. A negative one, right? So I apologize because I feel like I didn't give you the opportunity, and I probably will never be able to because I don't know you, but I didn't give you the opportunity to get through your game in the way that you felt you needed to get through your game, right? So I'm apologizing because of my response to how she responded to Big Delusional. And so my thing is, I can understand why she would be irate in that mix, in that bag. I don't necessarily agree with how she handled the Britney situation, where she wanted Britney to come upstairs and Big D was like big brother to Brittany, and Big D was like, I'm gonna be here too. And that whole exchange, I don't really vibe with that gameplay aspect, but that's not what I'm apologizing for, because I think that was a bit much, period. I just do. But her stance with Big D overall is what is, I'm apologizing for my response to her and in my defense of Big D, because I feel like it takes two to tango, and there's probably a reason why she reacted that way. I'm just gonna say that. There had to be a reason why she reacted that way, because seeing her post BB23, I'm like, yo, this dope. This chick is dope. This chick is dope. This chick is really, really dope. Now, I'm not gonna give her 100,000% because I'm sure she probably has her ways. And I probably wouldn't have gotten her together on her ways. We probably would have gotten we would have seen each other, boo. It would have been one of those. But I think her and I would have been thick as thieves on the show. Mind you, we're around the same age. Okay, she's a little older than I am, but we're around the same age. And so we've been through life as black people. We would have gelled and vibed so well in that house. Oh, and soon as she would have came up with the double plan thing, oh, it would have been me and her. I already know that. I already know that right off the rip. It would have been me and her. Me and her would have been talking about Big D all day long. Like, we would have been paying him dust all day long. I know in my heart of hearts that Tiffany and I would have been thick as thieves in that house. And it really would have been me and her before her and Claire, to be honest, or her and Derek, to be honest. Like, let's just keep it a buck, okay? Let's just keep it a buck. Her and I would have been, it just would have been everything. And so I apologize for how I came at her, not really knowing her like that and just being a little bit judgmental, right? But adopting similar connections despite our differences, I vibe with her, and I feel like we would have been thick as thieves. Again, don't necessarily agree with how she handled certain situations in that house, with how she came off in her tone, especially with that issue with her, Xavier and Kylan. I would have been Kylan, getting her together, reeling her in, hold on, ma, calm that down. But yeah, so real recognize real. I love how she's conducting herself post BB23. I see it all day long. She's having a good time. They're all getting drunk out in the streets. We just would have been it. Like, we really would have been it. Really would have been. And so congratulations to Tiffany for being America's favorite house guest. I voted for Derek X, because I love Derek X, but I'm so thrilled that we had 3 black winners at the end of BB23. You know, Xavier, it could have been Azza. I was hoping it would have been Azza, except for Big D, no shade, all light. And then Tiffany, for a black woman to win America's favorite house guest was just, again, because Davon won it. But yeah, like, all of that, like, I know that me and Davon would be thick as thieves in the house, and I just know me and Tiffany would have been thick as thieves in the house. I really wasn't expecting this video to be super long, but anyways, it is what it is. Let me know your final thoughts of the house guest post BB3 and post BB3. But yeah, like, I am so appreciative to CBS for casting a well-rounded group of individuals. The casting director was on the holding the phone in one of Tiffany's videos, and he was a white guy. And I was like, yo, like, that is so dope. This is the best cast of Big Brother, period. All of these people are out partying, getting along. Nobody's having anything negative to say. You know, I didn't see Brett and I didn't see Travis, because probably Travis is still in Hawaii. But all these people, like, were showing love and getting along, and it was just like, and I didn't see, what's the girl name? What was her name? Bra Girl. I didn't see her. But, like, overall, like, this was the sweetest, most intelligently developed cast we've ever seen, because of how open-minded they are, and you know how they all get along no matter what. It's just beautiful to watch. I just hope and pray that BB24 is still diverse, and I hope and pray it's not this thing to get all the black people out anymore. I really hope and pray that it's not, because wow, like even the Cookout said that they don't know what new black people are going to be able to do in this house. It's undeniably acknowledged at the fact that black people have had a hard get with this game, period. And so even up until 23, after 23, I just hope and pray. I just hope and pray. Because I feel like everybody's gonna assume that it's Cookout 2.0 and let's get them out, let's get them out. You know they're gonna wanna get us out because we're not black. Like, I just hope and pray that the casting directors cast open mind people and that we have a true, authentic Big Brother game moving forward in BB24. And hell, maybe they'll put me on, you know, because I'll give it to them. What? You know, this whole thing, I've been not anti-Cookout, but just anti-Cookout ways, the way that they were getting there. And I feel like I get it, that you felt like you had to, but I really feel like I honestly feel like we really could have had a black winner with this core group of people that made it in the house than any other season ever. The fact that they did teams right off the rip and it was already diverse led me to believe that. We were going to have a black winner in the top 5. We were going to have a black player in the top 3. It just was a no-brainer. Kings could have made it all the way to the end and it could have ended up being Xavier and Christian all the way. All the way, it could have been. What are we talking? Anyways, BB24 casting director, look at this face. Look at this personality. I would be a comp beast. I would be a social beast. And I would just be respected and give respect all around town player, baby. Period. I would suck at the memory stuff. I would. What happened on 75th day? Child, I don't know. I can barely remember what happened 3 days ago. But then again, maybe in the house, maybe that's all that I would have to focus on. Who knows? I don't know. But I think that would be my worst part, the memory. Everything else I'm beasting. Everything else I'm beating the people at my house. Like, what are we talking about? I'm on the couch yelling and screaming. Anyways, cast me, goddamn. Because it would just be good TV. Period. Period, poo. Anyways, I'm waiting to see a gay black man on the screens that isn't extra. Like, but can be, but not really. And that's me. Anyways, y'all leave your comments below, let me know what y'all thought. I'm sorry this was like a 30-minute freaking video. Love y'all. Deuces. I know. Y'all not about to think about not subscribing to aconnectiontv.com. Copyrighted.